Okay, we're back with Mike Yukonevich. He's with Crane Worldwide Logistics and a graduate. In fact, the first graduate of our BSBA in Supply Chain Logistics Management, and I'm very proud of that for Mike. Mike also was the president of the Student Supply Chain Logistics Association. So in video one, we left off kind of abruptly, sorry about that, but we left off with Mike talking about trying to find your way. And so I asked Mike about how does a student find their way? And Mike said, well, it's really trying to gather as much experience and exposure as you can through the classroom and through other ways. So Mike, what were the other ways that helped you to gain some of these experiences before you graduated?
So as Dr. Keller mentioned, with Supply Chain Logistics Association, that was really eye-opening for me. I'm all about students getting involved because that allowed me to go on tours of local companies that have logistics involved in their business, or their business is logistics or warehousing, whatever it may be. That was really eye-opening for me. I toured multiple manufacturing warehouses, or well, manufacturing facilities, distribution centers, warehouses, cross docks, the local ports here in Pensacola and also in Mobile. And so I started to get a taste of logistics there, and then also, of course, internships. Everyone hears that. It's a big buzzword, but it's very important for all college students. You have to get those internships whenever possible, for sure.
Now, let me ask, why are they so valuable from the recruiter's perspective?
Um, my belief is that it shows that you're ready for the workforce, that you will be able to walk into your new job after graduating, and your second weekend you're not gonna have the realization that an office job is not for you. They want to know that you can work at a desk. Depending on your job, of course, some jobs allow you to go outside of the office or out in the warehouse, whatever it may be, but they want to know you're not going to freak out after they hire you, essentially. Um, but it also allows you to learn about them, is the way I looked at it too. I was curious, because basically an internship is a job, but you have an ending point and you don't have to quit. You don't have to give the bad news that you don't like it. So you can go work for these companies over the summer, or during fall and spring semesters, learn about their office culture, their company culture, their goals, whether or not you align with their goals, and whether or not you like the work that they do, or the industry as a whole. Um, I worked for a foreign trade zone management company and consulting company, or I interned for them, not necessarily worked for them, but interned for them for a summer. Really gave me that international aspect. I learned to think about international freight and how stuff moves around the world, essentially. And then also got to learn a lot about government laws, and all the policies, and how strict and how loose customs can be for certain items. Um, and also just the moving parts that it takes to get a watch from Switzerland all the way to a jewelry store. I learned how that process works, who's involved, um, and just how much oversight it takes to make sure things arrive on time and undamaged. So internships are a huge part, as you're growing up and deciding what you want to do after college, for sure. Um, and then the other thing I think that was special for me, at least, was I had the opportunity, or I made the opportunity, to job shadow people. Um, some people know I was crazy enough to drive out to Houston, Texas, to job shadow at Crane of all places. Um, I heard so many great things about this company. I had met a few people from the company that I had to see it for myself. So I one day texted Dr. Keller and I told him, I said, if I can pay for everything and take care of it, get myself out to Houston, is there any way you can talk to JD out there and see if he's available to have me come in the office and meet him and see what Crane is like? And I was very fortunate to have that happen, and I did. I fulfilled my promise. I drove myself all 12 hours out there, and I found somebody to stay with, and even got to go to a Houston Astros baseball game out of it. But
JD joined you at that game, right?
yes, so it was a fantastic opportunity, and I don't think people take advantage of that enough. I also spent one spring break, me and a couple friends, we drove down to Fort Myers. We job shadowed at a 3PL as well. And those are things that companies can help you with, and for them it costs little to nothing. They might take you out for lunch, and that's about it for them. As long as you'll pay for everything else, most of the time companies will help you out with that, and because just as much as you're getting to see them, they want to see you, see if you feel comfortable in their office, see if you would be interested in their job, again, because no one wants to make a bad hire. And so I always tell people that's a big part as you're getting closer to graduating, figuring out that job, figuring out where you want to interview at. Go talk to these companies, find a name in that company and start emailing them, asking if there's any chance for an internship for sure. But if it's way out of your way or too far away, like if there's just an opportunity for you to drive by and see the place, walk through, meet some people, it gives you that opportunity to either check it off the list that you don't want to apply or that you're really interested in. You need to further pursue it.
So let's do say that time is too short for somebody to go all the way to Houston like you did. Although I want to come back to that in a couple of minutes, because that experience actually helped to solidify your hire with Crane. Are there, if I'm a student and I'm going, well, I think I'd like to be in the beer distribution industry or the port type of industry, would you suggest that they call up David Bear or they call up Amy down at the port and see if they could job shadow them or one of their supervisors for the day? Is that what you're telling me?
Certainly. It plays a big role for both parties, and then also those people that you reach out to, especially the more influential people, they see you as someone who's different. And kind of what you were alluding to with me going out to Houston and with Crane is that I don't think there's ever been another LDP to drive out to Houston just to see the company. And so for sure, and JD was one of my interviewers. So when I was going through the process, I had to sit down with him. And I know, or at least I think I do, he had my back when it came to picking the new class for the LDP program. And when you say somebody made the effort to come see the company, this isn't just the first time they've been out there. They've reached out to you. They were different somehow. That'll usually stick in their mind and help you in the future.
Well, and let me elaborate just a little on that. You had a very competitive class of new recruits trying to get those 5 positions for the leadership development program at Crane. Mm-hmm. Crane goes to the top logistics universities across the country, and they choose a very small group every year. And JD was their first recruit and also their first recruit out of the University of West Florida. So initially he would have your back anyway, but because you took it upon yourself to go and to job shadow and show that interest, and it was such a significant commitment on your part, when they closed the doors and they were weighing all of these great candidates, every little bit that you did that differentiated you from everybody else helped. And I think that that was certainly one of those factors that weighed in your favor that nobody else had going for them.
Certainly. Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what an internship does for you, that it helps you to show potential recruiters that you're interested in the industry, whether it's, like you say, the specific industry that you had your internship in, or whether it is outside of that industry, but the fact that you've learned enough to know you're still interested in trying to get into a logistics position.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, this has been Mike Yukonevich. We'll do a third video in just a moment, and we will ask Mike about very unique experiences that he's had with Crane Worldwide Logistics, and he'll tell us some great stories.